Hey guys, and welcome to this video. So in this video we are doing live chat number 2, and today we are going to be talking about love and relationships. So I am dressed up in a red shirt and red lipstick and everything because it's the month of Valentine's Day and we're talking about love and relationships here. So I thought it'd be fun to go a little heavier on my makeup today. So I have my Word document here like I've been doing for every live chat video. And basically this is live chat number 2 on love and relationships. So I thought I would hit a few topics first and then I'd go into the 10 most commonly asked questions online about love and relationships, and then I would personally answer them to what I think best. But yeah, so before I begin, I just want to say I'm not a counselor, I'm not a doctor. Everything I'm going to tell you in this video is just personal experience or I've learned in the past. So everything in this video is my personal opinion, so I know everybody has different opinions and everything, but I'm just going to get into it. So before I met my husband in 2013. I was 18 years old and I had about 5 relationships where we had solo dated, and I had one that I had with kind of a best friend, but it never really formed into a full-on relationship. But I was able to start dating 2 months before I turned 16, and the only reason that was because the guy I was dating at the time was a member of my church and we were both the same members and we had known each other our entire lives, you know, and so my family thought that he could be trusted and everything, and so we dated for a bit. So I had that relationship for a while and that one ended very, very sad and probably still left a scar in my heart a little bit. Even though it's been years later. Then I went into like a rebound type relationship, which was totally toxic, totally not good, and I got out of that as soon as I could. Then the next relationship was a really, really nice guy who was a friend that did develop into more, and this is when I was in high school and everything, and that was just a good relationship. We ended on okay terms. It was just I saw my future going a different way than I saw his. And then after that I dated a kid that was a member of my church as well, and he turned out to be a very, very bad seed. He portrayed himself as being one way when he really was another way. And then I dated another kid right before I met my husband, and we dated for, I don't know, 8 months or a year or something, and he wasn't the best kid either, so I was glad to get out of that relationship too. And then, as I said, I had a best friend throughout my entire life, and we kind of liked each other, and I kind of wanted to date him, and then he didn't make a move, and that one kind of fizzled out until he came to me right before I got married, and it was very, very sad and very, very tragic that he decided a few days before my wedding to tell me how he felt and everything, so that was crazy. So if you want to know any back history on any of those past relationships, I can make a whole nother live chat video on that. But today is love and relationships. So I just wanted to start out with that, just so you guys have a little bit of a background. So I had met my husband in February of 2013. We met online. We met on LDSsingles.org, which is a dating site for my church, and I went on there to meet friends. I was 18, I wasn't planning on getting married, I wasn't planning on meeting somebody and getting married super quick or anything like that. I had been homeschooled a lot of my life, and I went to high school and I got a concussion. I'll share that video in the card section so you guys could learn about what happened, because I made a story time on it. So I had to get out of high school really early. And I just wanted to meet friends. So I went online, met Arlie, which is my husband, and we started dating and really liking each other.
It was really, really funny how we met online, because I was sitting there with my mom at the time, and I was like, Mom, what if we're picking out my future husband? And she was like, oh no, you're too young. And then we actually really did pick him out together, which was kind of funny.
So the next topic I wanted to talk about was how I knew my husband was the one. So our relationship was really, really quick to some people nowadays. I guess nowadays a lot of people like to take their relationships slow. We weren't like that. We met in February. We exclusively started dating like a few weeks later, like only dating each other. Then in May, he asked me to marry him, May 4th. And then in July, we got married. So that was pretty quick for some people, but I knew he was the one, he knew I was the one, and it just worked out. So I think one of the first times I realized he was the one was I pretty much had a feeling on our first date, like he was different than anybody I had ever met. We connected so much better than anyone I ever met. We didn't want to stop talking. We didn't want to say goodbye. You know, it was that kind of love we started feeling for each other the more we started dating. It was like I didn't want to say goodbye. I never wanted to say goodbye because I always wanted to be with him. Then I found myself wanting to become better for him. I wanted to become my better self for him, not only just for me, but for him too. So I knew he was the one a few times throughout dating. I had a feeling on the first date. Then when he told me he loved me, I didn't say anything back because,
all jokes aside, but when he told me he loved me, he had a flipper thing in his mouth and he took it out and it like really threw me off.
but aside from that, I didn't say anything because I was so shocked that this guy I care about so much actually told me he loved me. And so then I didn't say anything. And then I made sure to let him know like the next day because I told my mom, and my mom
was like, what'd you say to him? And I was like, I don't think I said anything.
And so I made sure to tell him the next day I do feel the same way and I want to still date and everything, and I made it very clear how I felt for him. No, I just knew he was the one for me, and it's just a feeling that you get.
And I know a lot of people say this and you're just like, ugh, how do I know if I'm getting that feeling or not?
It's the feeling of never wanting to say goodbye. It's the feeling of never wanting to be without this person. It's the feeling that if this person went away, you know your heart would be broken. You know that you would be tragically hurt and scarred for the rest of your life. You know that this person is who you're meant to be with. So that's how I basically knew he was the one. I was having all of those feelings. Like I said earlier, the next topic I wanted to talk about was getting married at a young age. So I said that I got married at 18, and I did. I wasn't trying to get married, but when you meet the right one and you just know, you just know. So I was 100% confident in what I was doing was right, and I knew that he was the one for me, and so I went forward with it. I was a little bit scared on the wedding day, as anybody is, because you're making such a huge life-changing decision. But I had always known what I wanted throughout my life. I had a list of different qualities that I wanted in a guy, and every year it changed and it got better and eventually formed into this list of things I really truly wanted in a partner, in a spouse, in a husband, and he had all of those qualities. And so I ended up being really, really lucky to find him. And so I went forward with it, and it truly is the best decision I ever made. I can't imagine my life without him now. Like, I love him so much. And I know a lot of people say, well, you didn't have the chance to date because you were only 18. I did. I had practically 6 relationships before I even dated my husband. So I had been around a bit and saw what was out there, and I knew what I wanted. So when I saw him and met him, I knew that he was who I wanted. Next topic I wanted to talk about is how we keep our marriage strong. So in any marriage, you're going to have difficult things that you're going to have to get used to. Like, you know, your husband likes it really, really cold and you like it really warm, so you have to find that middle ground. But there's more important things as well. You know, like sometimes you'll have little arguments here and there. We have only had a few arguments we're going on 6 years of marriage. We can pretty much solve or figure out any disagreement pretty easily. There was only 2 disagreements we had in our marriage that took a little bit of extra figuring out to get through them. But it's just like with any marriage, you have to have love and respect and be able to talk anything out. And that's one thing we talked about before we got married, is that any situation or argument we had, we would always talk it out and just get through it. And we would never stop talking to each other. And I think talking and communication is very, very important in a marriage. And so that is something that we agreed upon before we even got married. My last topic I wanted to talk about in this section was making a list of things that you want in your spouse or your future spouse or your loved one, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But I started doing this at a young age, probably about 15. And it started out with being,
I want him to be super handsome, and I want him to be like Prince Charming and stuff like that.
and then as the years went on, it was like, I'm crossing those out and I'm like, just as long as he's a good person and he loves me and I love him, you know, it just changed over the years. And then eventually I had this list by the time I was 18 of the qualities and the things that I really wanted in a guy. Is he trustworthy? Is he loyal? Is he, does he communicate well? Does he love me? You know, like, is he a nice person inside? Does he have good morals? You know, all of that. So it really did change over time. And I think that that could help anyone who's looking for a relationship. Just physically see what you want on a piece of paper and then take that piece of paper and show it up to every guy that you date. Does he have these qualities? If he's a cheater, you know, no, I don't want to date him. He's kind of a player. So you know what I mean? Just having a guideline of what you want can really help you, and it can help you to really see it too on a piece of paper. I looked up online the top 10 questions most asked about love and relationships. And some of these I found were a surprise. Some of them I was like, that totally makes sense. So I'm going to tell you the question and how I personally would answer it. First question is, what does a healthy relationship look like? And I wrote here, a healthy relationship is built on trust, respect, loyalty, love, morals, and commitment. So to me, a healthy relationship would have each of these qualities. And if you look at somebody who is a cheater, they don't have any of those qualities, you know? So those qualities to me are super, super important, because you know you can trust that person, you know he loves you, you know he's committed to you, you know that he has morals, whatever they may be for you personally. And I think that having all of those qualities in your way of what you think is right and what you believe in and everything, that could be a really good start to a solid relationship and be a healthy relationship. Number 2 is, how do you know your relationship is over? Now, as I've said, I have had about 5 or 6 relationships before I even met my husband, and some of them were truly heartbreaks. Like, I know what a heartbreak's like, and it is not fun. So I said the end of a relationship comes with sadness and loneliness. You feel the loss of the person. You know deep inside the relationship is over. Lots of times you only go back on the good times, and really you need to be honest with yourself and look back at the bad times too. So after a relationship is over, it's really easy to just be sad and be lonely and just only think of the good times you had with that person. Then in your mind you create this fantasy that you only ever had good times and there wasn't bad times. But honestly, there was bad times. There's a reason why you two aren't together. There's a reason why the relationship is over, and you have to be honest with yourself, and he has to be honest with him. You know, you both have to be honest with yourselves about it. So that's really how I think you know the relationship is over, is when you both aren't ready to keep on trying on it. The question is how to get out of a toxic relationship. So getting out of a toxic relationship can become dangerous. So I wrote here to please get professional advice if you're in a super toxic relationship, one that can become dangerous very, very quick. I am not a professional or anything, so please go to a professional if you're having trouble with this. But basically you need to realize the relationship is toxic and know that you deserve better and you deserve happiness, and that's why you're leaving. Because no one deserves to be in a toxic relationship. No one deserves to be hurt and abused or anything like that. But make sure that you get the help that you need to get out of it safely. And you can always talk to somebody about it. Talk to a friend, talk to a professor, talk to somebody and tell them that you need help if you do. Next is how to get over a relationship. Like I said, I had a few relationships that I had to get over before meeting my husband and being happy like I am now. For me, the best way to get over a relationship is distraction. go on dates just to have fun. I'm not saying be sleazy or be bad or anything like that. I'm just saying go on dates, have fun, hang out with your best friends. Distraction is key. Be careful when dating because you can have a rebound relationship if you're not careful. That's what kind of happened with my first relationship. I cared for him so much and then we broke up, and then I met this guy and he was awful and it was totally a rebound thing. So be careful with that because your heart can really tell you that you love him or her, but you really don't. So just be careful. Just go and have fun and distract yourself. Also, being angry at that person causes less pain. Eventually you'll forgive and move on. So I was always told the best distraction is to date another guy, you know? But honestly, you can have rebounds with that and that cannot be good. So be careful with that, and just go and have fun and live your life, you know? Like, this person would probably be so happy that you're crying over him every 5 minutes. You know, don't give him that satisfaction. Don't give the person that satisfaction. Move on, be happy, hang out with friends, and your friends will help you get through. How to save your relationship. So I wrote, saving your relationship will be different depending on your circumstance, but the only way to know if your relationship is worth saving is if you both are willing to try to save it. If one of you isn't, it's going to be way harder. So one of the quotes that I came up with a long time ago is,
it doesn't matter how much you love someone if they don't love you back.
that saying to me has always rang super true. If this person's not willing to work on it with you, you can't make them. You can only lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. So the thing is how to save your relationship. I would say if you're in a circumstance like this, marriage counseling or premarital counseling or any type of counseling could probably help you out with that. Yet again, this is another question that more of a professional person can kind of help you out with more than me. I just wanted to touch on it because it was one of the 10 most asked questions online. Build trust in a relationship. I wrote, first, get to know the person very well. Second, learn to jump. Learn that it's okay to try to trust again, and even after a breakup. If you know the person, you love the person, and things are going well, you can let down your walls and build trust. So I haven't really, I guess in the past I've had issues with trust and things like that, but with my husband and meeting him, I loved him so much and I cared for him, and I knew that putting down these walls and trusting him could end up in a breakup, but he was so worth the jump. I'm telling you, he was so worth it. And even if we wouldn't have made it, I still would have looked back on the relationship and been like, wow, I met an amazing person that I truly loved, that I truly fell in love with, and I could happily say that, you know, I love him, and that we tried the best we could, and that he had everything that I ever wanted. And I would have been very sad that it didn't end up working. But I'm so lucky that it did end up working, and I just feel so blessed every day that my relationship is so strong and that it has worked out the way it has. I know 100% that I can trust my husband, and that is so important to me. I never wanted to be in a relationship where I didn't know if I could trust that person, or I had to know where that person was every 5 minutes. And I hurt in my heart for people who are in relationships like that, because that is just really, really hard on you. So I'm really sorry if you're in that relationship and you're looking and seeking for help. Next is how to make a long distance relationship work. So I had a little bit of a long distance relationship type thing, but it fizzled out super quick. Making a long distance relationship work is hard, and the best advice I can give is to establish the goals you have in your relationship before the person leaves. Like, are you two exclusively dating? Are you dating anyone else? Are you seeking other opportunities? Are you guys really exclusive and only dating each other? You need to make those goals set before the person leaves. Then also I would say talk to each other daily and see each other as often as possible. Really, that's going to be the best way to get through, is to talk as often as possible and see each other as much as you can. How many dates should I go on becoming exclusive? I said as many as you need to realize that you want to be exclusive. For me, that was a few weeks, and my husband didn't even ask me, you know, hey, do you want to exclusive date me? He was just assumed that we were, and so it just kind of worked out because we were just kind of seeing each other, and that was it. Is why is he not calling me back? This is what I wrote. I have experience in this, believe me. Guys don't like being chased. They like to chase you. I've learned this the hard way. If you're too clingy or want to talk all the time, it may scare the guy away. Let him contact you. Wait for him to reach out to you, and after a while, he will chase you. So if you guys really like each other and you're talking and he kind of is going one way and you're like over here, let him come to you, because the more you chase, the more he's gonna run. And that is something my mom has always told me, and she couldn't have been more right. So the minute you let up and you stop chasing him and constantly contacting him, because he thinks in your mind, oh, well, she has so much time on her hands and all she's thinking of is me, and she's not gonna forget me. That's not good. You want him to be like, I wonder if she's thinking about me, and her be like, I wonder if he's thinking about me. You know what I mean? You don't want to chase. So my best advice is to just wait for him to contact you, and he probably will. Question is, how do you date your best friend? And I've had a little bit of experience with this. It didn't really end too well. It was very tragic and kind of sad. In love with your best friend can be very complicated. I could make an entire live chat just on that subject. This started happening to me in the past, and from experience I could tell you that if you both have feelings and both want to date, then you both should go for it. If only one of you is having feelings, then it may be best to move on. One of the best things is dating your best friend, because you already know each other super well. You already can trust each other. You know that the person's loyal. You know that your best friend has all these qualities because you're best friends with them. Being best friends before dating can make your relationship stronger, and this is just so true. So if you guys are both liking each other, you guys should go for it. I think you guys should totally go for it, and it's a really good foundation for your future relationship. Anything to say about love and relationships in the live chat we just had, let me know down below. If you like this video, give it a like, and I will have my live chat playlist in the cards section so you guys could check that out. This is only the second episode of it. Let me know what topics you want in the future, and I will totally do them. And make sure you subscribe and stick around, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye!